A Farewell to Arms. An ideal retelling inspired by Ernest Hemingway. The story begins in the late summer, in a small house overlooking a broad river and an endless plain stretching toward distant mountains. The riverbed lay white with stones baked by the sun, and the water ran fast and clear through its deeper channels. Along the road beside the house, soldiers marched constantly, their boots grinding the dust into fine powder that settled on leaves, trunks, and skin alike. At night the flashes of artillery flickered on the mountains like distant summer lightning, beautiful and indifferent. This was the world Frederick Henry inhabited, a world defined by movement and weather. Columns of troops passed beneath the windows. Motor trucks and mule trains carried guns hidden beneath branches. In autumn, rain darkened the countryside and stripped the trees bare. With winter came sickness and death. Cholera moved silently through the army, claiming thousands before it was stopped. And yet life persisted, cafes stayed open, hospitals overflowed, officers joked over wine and food, as though routine itself might hold chaos at bay. In the officers' mess, Frederick shared meals heavy with wine and talk. The captain mocked the young priest with affectionate cruelty, while others argued about God, atheism, and forbidden books. The priest bore it quietly, offering instead the simple invitation of peace, the clear air and hunting grounds of the Abruzzi. Frederick listened but did not go. Like many men at war, he drifted between choices without committing to them, believing vaguely that there would always be time later. His closest companion was Rinaldi, a surgeon whose enthusiasm for life burned hot and fast. Rinaldi believed in women, pleasure, and speed, and soon he introduced Frederick to what would become the center of his life. Catherine Barkley stood apart from the noise of war. Tall, composed, and quietly beautiful, she carried herself with the reserve of someone shaped by loss. Her fiancé had been killed at the Somme, and grief lived just beneath her voice. She spoke gently, often with a faint smile that did not fully conceal her sorrow. At first, Frederick approached her almost carelessly, as soldiers often do when loneliness disguises itself as charm. But Catherine was not a diversion. Their early meetings were tentative, restrained by manners and shared sadness. When they kissed for the first time, it was not triumph but confusion that followed, Catherine admitting she saw in Frederick the ghost of the man she had lost. What grew between them was not dramatic love but something slower and more dangerous, reliance. In gardens and quiet rooms, in pauses between duties and bombardments, they learned each other's silences. Love became a shelter, not from the war itself, but from being alone within it. The war asserted itself violently one night at the front. As Frederick ate with his drivers, a mortar shell exploded nearby, shattering the world into fire and noise. He felt the blow in his legs before he understood the pain. One of his men was killed. Frederick was carried away through darkness, blood, and confusion. Evacuated to Milan, he entered a different world, clean sheets, antiseptic air, and waiting. The American hospital offered order and kindness, and Catherine soon joined him there. Their love deepened in the hospital's quiet hours, unfolding in whispered conversations, stolen nights, and shared dreams of a future untouched by uniforms. Time slowed. Frederick healed. Catherine became pregnant. Happiness existed, fragile but real, and they clung to it with deliberate care. When Frederick returned to the front, the war had changed. Rain fell endlessly. Morale thinned. Rinaldi grew bitter and exhausted. Rumors of retreat spread. Then the lines broke. The retreat from Caporetto was not heroic. It was mud, fear, and confusion, trucks stalled, men abandoned, officers questioned and shot by their own side. Frederick tried to hold on to order but found none. At a bridge, military police accused him of treachery. In a moment of instinct, he leapt into the river. The icy water carried him away from the army, from duty, from the war itself. Emerging soaked and alone, he discarded his uniform. This was his farewell to arms, not a speech or a declaration, but an act of survival. Frederick found Catherine again in Stresa. Their reunion was urgent and joyful, shadowed by danger. With the help of strangers, they escaped across a dark, wind-torn lake into Switzerland. Each stroke of the oars burned, but the far shore promised safety. In the mountains, they built a temporary life, meals, walks, reading by lamplight. Winter wrapped the world in snow. For a time, peace felt possible. In Lausanne, Catherine went into labor. The hospital was clean and efficient, but life refused to cooperate. The child was stillborn. Catherine weakened rapidly, hemorrhaging beyond control. There were no speeches, no meaning to be found. Frederick stayed with her until the end, speaking to her even after she was gone, as if words might delay reality. When it was finished, he walked back to the hotel alone in the rain. This is not a story about war won or lost, but about what remains when belief, duty, and love are stripped to their essentials. The world continues, seasons change, rain falls, indifferent to individual suffering. Yet within that indifference, the story insists on the reality of love, brief and devastating, and the human need to hold on to something even when everything else is taken away. The final image is not triumph, but endurance, a man walking alone through rain, carrying memory, loss, and the quiet truth of having loved fully in a world that offered no guarantees.